How are you? Come on in. Studio's nice and warm and friendly today, and fuzzy too. Come on in. Today, it's about your rules of success. Now, do you have rules for your success? Of how you're going to get what you want? My guess is you probably do. You probably have your operating, policy that you walk and talk every single day. Could be working for you. Some things aren't. Some things maybe not as well as you'd like to be, and some things ain't not at all. But depending on your rules, that's how it's going to roll. So we'll talk about that today, give you some ideas of what a successful person getting what they want is probably doing every single day, and we'll see how many you do or should be doing. It is a daily boost from motivationtomove.com, the positive boost you need every single day. Life begins when you move, and it doesn't stop. Did you notice that? Everything is you step in, try something, get a new idea, decide to go do it, and boom. I am going, planning a trip to Alaska. A motorcycle adventure with my buddies, and we're kind of working through the process right now. And it's kind of amazing because it's a big bucket list kind of deal. It's a guy trip up on BMW 1250 GSs and the whole thing, the motorcycle I've never ridden before. But it's funny, as exciting as it is, suddenly life gets in the way. Well, do I have the time? How much is it going to cost? Can I ride that motorcycle? What kind of outer gear do I need? It just gets really have you noticed that? It's how things are. Now, right now, it's funny when I'm thinking about this, there's people that are listening to me this moment going, well, yeah, that sounds about right. Every time you step into something, it gets more complicated just like that. So we stand up, we take a step, we repeat, we keep going until we get what we want. That's the rule around here. How are you? My name is Scott Smith. I'm the founder and the chief motivating officer here at motivationtomove.com, on Apple, on Spotify, every place around the world where you can find us. Share that podcast if you can. It does help us grow the show. Plus on YouTube these days at dailyboostpodcast.com/YouTube every single week. It gets better and better. I'm kind of getting used to this thing now, and so I still got to do my hair. That's rules of success. What are they? If there were a plan that you had, if you were able to get up out bed every single day and make stuff happen, be a rainmaker in your own life, as they say, what would you do to do that? Have you thought about it? Is it important that you understand what they are, or are you just kind of going with the flow, just rolling throughout the day, just do my thing, man? I go with the flow, and that's okay. I don't mind. If that's what you choose, like they said, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. If your mission in life is to find happy hour and have a beer, awesome. But if not, what are you doing? What are your rules of success? Let's talk about those rules of success. So if you study people who are successful in any possible way, meaning they've got it together someplace, right? And it's really interesting when I think about this, because sometimes you think, it's money, it's success, it's family, it's career. Sometimes people really do have it together just laying on the beach. What'd you do today? I laid on the beach 5th day in a row. Awesome. I'm going for 10. Not a bad thing, huh? So when we think about success, it comes in so many different varieties. And I think you got to be careful too, because if you don't set a goal, you in effect have set a goal. If you do nothing, you in effect are doing something. And so therefore, we have to pay attention to all this stuff. What are rules and what are we doing? So what are those rules? Well, a person with the strongest why is going to win. Now, you know me, why is always third place for me. Why would I say it's the strongest why? Well, because the what I want to do always comes up first. The why, or the how, always comes up second. I know, Scott, don't worry about the how. What's important? First thing we do is we think about that, right? So the first is, well, what are we thinking about? Second is, well, how are we going to do it? And once you get the why, then you can overcome just about anything to get there. So the person that understands and has the strongest why, the strongest driver behind them. I have a very strong drive behind me. Don't get in my way if I have a good, strong why. What's yours? The person who shows up wins. If you did nothing other than show up, when I used to do a lot of network marketing, I would talk to people and I would say, listen, if you will do 5 or 10 calls a day, I said 5, you'll make yourself $500,000 a year. At 10, you'll be a millionaire in no time at all. It's true. I can't do 10. Sure you can. Anybody can do 10 calls a day. You show up, you do it. It doesn't matter what you do. If you show up at the gym more often than the people who don't show up, you get in better shape. If you watch your diet more often than you don't, you're more gooder than badder, as they say. I say. You lose weight. You show up, you win. And by the way, if you show up at the wrong thing, you win there too. Duh. Think about that one for a second. The person who shows up on time wins. I have a niece of mine. She's like, if you know me, you know I'm always late. Get used to it. Nah. I don't even say a word. I don't even say, hey, come on. It's a very simple thing. As a guy that does what I do, and if you do the coaching thing like I do and the consulting thing, you know that we have this little contest that happens among us. If we decide to talk to each other on a Zoom call, it's first off is whose Zoom room do we use? That's the first thing. We want to take control of that. And secondly, it's who's going to call who and will it be on time? If you're going to call me and you're not on time, I just took a point off. Isn't it weird? But that's how we think. The person who shows up time wins the game in all aspects of life. The person who is most persistent wins. My word yesterday, we talked about being resilient. Persistency is a really good thing. If you're just doggedly persistent, you're going to beat anybody who's not. That's all. It's just simple stuff. I don't want to do this, Scott. Sure you do. You want something, right? That's what you got to do. The person who never assumes wins. Well, I assumed my business plan was going to go this way. I don't know why it didn't work out. Who cares? Sometimes they don't. I have this is a common sense thing, and we'll see if you get it here. I have never believed that you can really understand exactly what's going to happen if you've never done it before. You can read the books, you can talk to everybody, you can have the assumption, the belief, the law of attraction will kick in for you, no doubt about it. But there's no possible way that you can believe it if you've never done it. So what do? We step into the first step, and we just keep taking steps, and we believe, and eventually all those beliefs add up to, wow, look, here's the picture. So we don't assume anything's going to work out, because if we do, we're going to lose, and we keep moving forward. The person who is the best at what they do will win the day. Be the best at you do. And the only way to be the best at what you do is to spend more time on being the best and practice. That's how you do it. The person who plans and documents their journey will win. Just what happens. When you plan it the best you can and deal with it as you go, and you document it along the way, when you document it, you're actually measuring and documenting what you've done and what's worked and what hasn't worked. You're able to apply that in the future when you need it. When you realize your original plan wasn't working so well, you have a place to look at and see, well, what wasn't happening? The person who never gives up total control to anybody else wins. Tell you, people are convincing out there. I've had a lot of deals come my way in the past couple of months, and maybe you'll like this line. Somebody called me about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they said, hey, are you into the proposal? Are you interested? I said, well, I like what I'm seeing here, but am I interested? Seems to me I can't really be interested until you send me the contract, so I can then see if I'm interested. Well, we're good people. It works out okay. I said, no, send me the contract. We'll look at it. Then I get the contract, and suddenly I'm not that interested anymore. Why? Because I don't want to give up all my control to somebody else. I'll share it. Don't ever give it up. The person who accepts responsibility for themselves wins. Do you do that at all levels? Doesn't mean it's, somebody didn't do it. Doesn't mean something wasn't done to you. It happens. It's the world we live in. But when you accept it, okay, fine. I accept responsibility for myself. That's okay. Even if it wasn't my fault, I'm just going to accept it and move on. You get happier. It's more positive that way. And you're able to move on with your own dreams and reality. And frankly, the people that do bad things to you tend to realize once you just don't make it about anybody but yourself. You say, oh, whatever. They just don't give you challenges anymore. It's awesome. The people who serves the most win. Help people do the things they want to do. That's what I do here. I really have one mission. That's kind of it. I just want to make sure that you take a little bit of time to think about what you want to do and then take a little bit more time to go do it. I guess that's 2 missions, isn't it? Person who is grateful the most wins, even for the bad stuff. Are you grateful for the bad stuff? When stuff happens, how can I be grateful? It's a terrible day. Do you believe what they did to me? I mean, that happens all the time. I'm always blown away by it, but still grateful for the experience. Maybe not in the moment. Maybe I have to walk away a little bit and look for the lesson that was there. Kind of crazy how these things work, isn't it? What are your rules of success? The actions that you take in your life will automatically create whatever experience and whatever level of success you want. Those actions should be locked into a certain grid. It's kind of like running a business we talked about last Friday. It should be kind of boring. You should look at these things we talked about today and say, you know what, if I do those things consistently, work them in my life every single day, every single part of what I do comes down to that. If I do that, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to get what I want. I'm going to be happier too. I know you know that already, but it's my job to remind you and say it again just in case you didn't hear me the first 9,000 times. Can you believe we're in our 17th season? 17th season. Now, actually, I was going to go to 5,000 episodes, and that will be wrapping up at the end of 2024. I am not committed to going to 5,000 yet. Well, no, I'm committed to going there. I'm not committed to stopping there. How's that? That make sense? Okay, we'll figure that out as time goes on. Tomorrow, SMART goals and why I don't think they're entirely realistic. A good starting point, yes. But one of the reasons I think sometimes goals crash people and actually slow you from getting your progress is because, like I like to stay very well grounded in what I'm doing. And occasionally when we get out in the utopian side of things, the universal law of attraction side of things, we tend to not be grounded in reality. We'll talk about that tomorrow. In the meantime, if you like this show commercial free, I know we have a lot of them lately, go to dailyboostpremium.com and get signed up. It won't cost you but a couple of cents a day, and you'll get it. I'll see you.